Let's now talk about the second step, designing the report format. In one of the earlier videos from this series, you saw that SSRS formats are built with SSRS Designer. Formats are maintained only by developers. SSRS Designer as a tool isn't exactly user-friendly, and developers are often reluctant to using it. Designs get deployed together with the rest of the code, so every change takes time. As opposed to that, in Docentric you design the formats in the Docentric Template Designer, which is a Microsoft Word-based tool. If you've ever worked in Microsoft Word, you can create the report formats, or templates, how we call them. This means that you don't need to rely on developers. Functional consultants, business analysts, and even key business users can own the templates. The tool is intuitive and easy to master. Templates are deployed through configuration, so changes can be rolled out quickly. And you don't start from scratch. For the most frequently used reports, Docentric provides ready-made templates that produce the same result as the original SSRS formats. We call them Docentric SSRS replicas. This puts the design process into the hands of business users, speeds up delivery, and reduces dependency on developers. Let's compare the two tools by looking at the designs side by side. On the left is the SSRS design for the sales invoice report. On the right is the Docentric replica template for the same report. Imagine you've been assigned to open the out-of-the-box design and make a few changes. The first step is to analyze the design and its elements so you know what you're working with. In one of the previous videos, I showed more details about SSRS as a reporting solution. I demonstrated adding a field to the design based on the requirement to place it above the payment information in the header. You saw how difficult it was to recognize what's what in the design and to locate the payment information. I had to right-click and open the expression for each field until I finally found the correct one. In the Docentric design, you immediately see what's on the layout and can quickly find the field you need. For example, I'll click this payment field. It's bound to a label whose English translation is payment, so I can instantly recognize it. In SSRS, you would have to right-click, open expression, see the label ID, and then search for that label ID in the Visual Studio label browser to understand what it means. Also, on the Docentric side, elements that are bound to data source fields clearly show the field names. There's no need to inspect each one. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to usability and productivity differences between the two tools. For example, I know this report well, and I can tell you that many elements in the layout are conditionally displayed. Why does it matter to know which ones they are? Because without this information, you can't control your layout. You'll often get unexpected results. How do you identify conditionally displayed elements in SSRS? You have to right-click each one, click Text Box Properties, go to Visibility, and check if it's always on, meaning always visible, or always off, meaning hidden, or depends on a condition in an expression, as is the case here. So, one more click to open this expression and to see the actual condition based on which this element is visible. To make it even more confusing, SSRS defines condition for hiding the content, not for showing it. Personally, I find it counterintuitive. After 5 or so clicks, you finally see this critical information. Now let's switch to Docentric. Here is the Docentric toolbar in Microsoft Word. In the Tagging Elements group, you'll find the so-called if tagging element. Its purpose is to conditionally show or hide the content to which it is applied. Every tagging element added to the layout also appears in the element tree pane. The same icons are used in both the toolbar and the element tree, so you can quickly spot the if tagging elements that control conditional visibility. When I select an if tagging element in the element tree, it's selected in the layout. The reverse direction works too. If I select an element in the layout, it's selected in the element tree as well. For example, I'll select the sales ID field. You can see that it's wrapped in an if tagging element. In the element tree, this is the first if tagging element above the currently selected field. I can even immediately read the condition. If the value of sales ID is different from empty string, then add this table row and display sales ID value and its label in it. Compared to SSRS, just one click or even just scrolling through the element tree is enough to understand the layout structure. Let's go back to SSRS for an even more complex example. This section is a table where sales invoice lines are repeated. Many of the rows, columns, and even specific table cells are conditionally displayed. To identify them, you need to click each one and repeat the earlier process. For example, I'll click the external item ID field. Here I was lucky to see the name on the linked field, but majority of data fields are not bound directly. Instead, they are bound to some expression, and that's when you will see only EXPR. When I clicked the external item ID field, the whole table structure to which it belongs became visible. On the left, I can select the entire table row, right-click, from the context menu select Row Visibility. It opens a dialog where I see that this row is conditionally hidden based on an expression. The expression says, if external item ID is an empty string, space of 0, then hidden is true. In plain words, hide this row when external item ID has no value. In Docentric, when I select this same external item ID field, I can immediately see in the element tree that it's inside an if tagging element, and I also see its condition right away. As a conclusion, when analyzing and understanding out-of-the-box designs, Docentric makes the process much easier. You can quickly see the structure, the conditions, and the meaning of each element, all with far fewer clicks than SSRS.